You're listening to A Radio.
Thank you for joining us. You're listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. We are on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 11:45 Eastern. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. You can find us on most social media platforms such as iTunes, Spotify and iHeartRadio. Go to our website, aradio.wordpress.com, for details, where you'll find more content and details on our podcasts and more. Today is April 1st. Today, if you look on Twitter, you'll see pictures of Trudeau in his holiday home. Today is the day that MPs get an automatic pay rise. And today is the day an extra carbon tax is applied to all Canadians. Today is the day we need to remove Trudeau. Trudeau doesn't care about you. Trudeau doesn't care about me. He only cares about himself and his nutty left-wing policies, destroying this country. Today is the day that Canadians have to pay their rent. And today is the day they do nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Trudeau is a disgrace. He is not a Prime Minister. He's an art teacher, or whatever he is. But he's not a Prime Minister. He's a useless third world MP. He needs to be removed from office, just like all the Liberals need to be removed from office. We must call for Parliament to be returned, and we must vote for a vote of no confidence. We must remove this government from power now. I urged all Canadians before to unite and work together, but yet this MP, Justin Trudeau, who cares only about Quebec, is destroying Canada. He has no policy to protect us against COVID-19. If you want to know what to do, watch the American media rather than the bilingual chatter on Canadian media, which tells you nothing other than the fact they're not testing, they're not doing enough, they're not stopping people going out. You know that, and I know that. They are doing nothing. We are following the British model, and we all know where that ends up. I'm sorry, folks, we have to call for the recall of Parliament. It is absolutely urgent that we remove this guy from office today. If we do not, we will have more taxes imposed on us. People can't even afford to pay the taxes they've got now. So come the summer, when you switch your air conditioning on to try and survive, it's not a luxury in Canada, it's a necessity. You've got to pay more tax to the federal government of Canada so that they can afford to bring in more refugees to give them free healthcare to overload our healthcare system. So when you need to go to hospital, when you need to go to the dentist or whatever, there won't be room for you to go because he is going to give everything away and you'll pay more tax for it. How much more do you need to see? How much more do you need to see to know this guy is not for you? We have to remove him from office. He is utterly, utterly, utterly dangerous. Please try and contact your MP and voice your utter disgust with the approach that these Liberals are doing. The utter disgust that we have an interior designer in charge of something to do with COVID-19. The Americans have a plan and they're implementing it. Canada is just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Do you want to risk your life to that? We need the military involved here. We need a military planner to do what's necessary to save this country, to save our citizens. We can't go on floundering around wondering what's going to happen from day to day. I'm just going to say this in closing. A medical chief officer in Canada is saying we can go on buses because as long as people aren't showing symptoms, everything's fine. Not true, and they know it. You don't have to show symptoms to have COVID-19, and that's the point. That's why you shouldn't be going anywhere. And they know it. And they know it. So to get on public transport with anybody, you are taking a risk. And they know that too. Why do they put out this false information? Watch the American media, and they're telling you the truth. Watch the American press conference, and they're telling you the truth. Our Prime Minister is lying to us. He doesn't care about us. He's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. No way did he ever have COVID-19. He was hiding. I'm sorry to break that news to you. He didn't have COVID-19. He didn't know what to do because he's completely out of his depth. All he knows is how to tax and spend, tax and spend. He doesn't know how to deal with a crisis. He knows how to create a crisis, but he doesn't know how to fix a crisis. He doesn't know how to deal with a crisis. Now, I'm doing this off the cuff. There may be mistakes. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, we've got to do something. We can't carry on. We can't lumber on to the summer and think everything's going to be okay. Because when we go to start our economy up, there won't be an economy. But there'll be lots of taxes for the federal government of Canada and Soros and the UN. They will have destroyed the Canadian economy with their taxes. They just don't get it. Or do they? Or do they? And our MPs are just sitting back and doing nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Shame on these MPs. Maybe it's time we had ordinary people in charge of this country rather than lawyers. Because lawyers, in my mind, as I've always said, are a complete waste of time. Let's have some real people. Let's have our own Donald Trump. Someone who knows how to get things done. Get rid of the regulations and get this country going. I wish I could do it. And there's many people much better qualified than me. But we need to do something now. We cannot lumber on like we were before. Trudeau is a disaster. He's going to kill thousands of us. Maybe that's his plan. I don't know. I hope not. We all hope not. But if you carry on as before, what do you expect the result's going to be? The same. The same. It's just pent up, ready to start all over again once we start getting back to normal. Yes, I'm angry. We should all be angry. Trudeau has to go. We have to call for a recall of Parliament. Contact your MP if you can get hold of them. I expect they're on vacation somewhere. Who knows? Do you ever notice these MPs are very quick to make comments on Twitter, but that's all they ever do? That's all they ever do. They're all a waste of space. In fact, they're a waste of oxygen. Michelle Rempel, for instance, talks all the time, makes all these comments, does nothing. Does nothing. Maxine Bernier is the same. They're all the same. They talk a good game, but they're not capable of doing anything. I'm sure if you were in charge, you'd be doing a lot more, like shutting down all airlines, like shutting down all roads in this country, only essential traffic running, shutting down the border completely. I thought we were self-sufficient in food in Canada. If we are, shut the border down. No one travels across. I thought we didn't need America for our survival. Clearly we do. Just like America needs China. We've all made a big mistake. We've all made a big mistake. Our biggest mistake was, unfortunately, electing an art student, an idiot, who thinks it's more important to speak French and implement Agenda 2030 and carbon tax and UN and all the rest of it than keep you safe. They have no plan and they have no idea. Watch any of their press conferences and you can see that. They're floundering. They have no clue at all. How much more time are we going to give them? It's time to put a military bod in charge. Never mind the bilingualism. Get the job done. Get the job done. Contact your MP as best you can. My MP isn't even on Twitter. That's how useless he is. He's about as useful as a chocolate teapot. They all are. They're useless. Absolutely useless. Time to throw all the bums out. All of them. They're a waste of space. Go back to your real job. Lawyers, and, I don't know, more lawyers. We don't need any more lawyers telling us what to do. We need real people in charge in this country, doing real jobs. How about an energy person looking after the energy department? How about a water person looking after water? How about an environmental person? Somebody who actually manages gardens and stuff, running the environment. We don't need lawyers. We need real people for real problems. And the best people to manage things right now are military people who understand planning and logistics. Please help me to help us. Contact your MPs today. Today.
Right, Mullen, Global News. Agriculture groups and others are urging your government to drop the plan to increase the carbon tax as of April 1st. Is that something you're considering?
We know that it is important that we put more money in the pockets of Canadians at this point when they're stressed. Our plan on pricing pollution puts more money up front into people's pockets than they would pay with the new price on pollution. We're going to continue to focus on putting more money in people's pockets to support them right across the country. We know that this is an important measure for the future, and we're going to continue to ensure that we are thinking about the future while at the same time we ensure that people can afford to make it through this crisis in the best possible way.
So yes or no? On carbon tax, will it go up next week?
We continue to make sure that people have more money in their pockets because that is how we designed the price on pollution.
Merci, c'est ce qu'il m'a fait à la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui.
Merci tout le monde.